What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is your boy AB. You guys know why I'm here. Let's get started with another one of my weekly Forex analysis. I'm going to be going over news as per usual first. Today we have some cash rate for the Australian dollar that's going to go on, and then also RBA rate statements. There's OPEC meetings all day today for all currencies, which OPEC meetings happens twice per year, and it's just usually held in Vienna and are attended by representatives from 15 oil-rich nations, such as, like, when you talk about the United States, talk about Canada, or you talk about Saudi Arabia. I'm pretty sure it's talking about a lot of countries that have a lot of influence on oil, right? And so they discuss a range of issues regarding energy markets, and most importantly, agree on how much oil they will produce. I talked about this on last week, I'm pretty sure. It's usually close to the press, but they do give out what goes on after, or they'll release what they say after. So just gotta not really watch out for the market necessarily, because especially since it's a Sunday/Monday, but still, that's just something that is good to know. Tuesday, we do have Federal Chairman Powell. He's going to be testifying. I don't know about what. He's just going to be speaking on. You have PMI at 9 a.m. as well. 6 p.m. you have Governor of Australia for the Australian dollar at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then you have GDP for Australian dollar Central Standard Time as well. So you want to watch out for that. Wednesday, we're going to have another testifying day, which this happens, I guess, every month, supposedly, the way how it seems. Thursday, no news. And Friday, we have Canadian dollar and US dollar unemployment rates and NFP this week. So expect a lot of movement from the US dollar this week. Today is the 29th, tomorrow's the 30th, and tomorrow's going to be the closing of a new monthly candle. So since I'm not going to be going live tomorrow, I'm just going to be going over that candle today, and we'll see what we can get from that, right? So let's go ahead and close that out. Go to the charts, and I'm going to full screen it. All right. So as I was saying, tomorrow is gonna be the end closing of this monthly candle right here. So I'm just gonna do the analysis of the monthly candle today. So right now, what we can see, and if I zoom out, we can see it even better. We can see that price is currently at this weekly zone right here, right? And I'm gonna actually go ahead and mark that off. Weekly support and resistance. And as I've said it multiple times for the past how many weeks now, it's just that price has just been going up and down over here. And even for the past couple of months, we can see that price has just been consolidating right here. We can see that it's tapped this as a resistance first right here, and then it came up here and used it as a resistance before. Right over here, we can see it used it as a support. Same thing with this candle right here, used it as a support. Used this as a support. So we could see that multiple times this weekly zone has held. And so therefore, this is a huge area of interest. You guys can call it, this would be, I mean, not mean to do that. This would be considered to be the demand zone. Is this demand? Yeah, demand zone. I'm sorry, support is demand. So yeah, so this is looking to be a high level that we can obviously see that price again is rejected off of multiple times before. I'm just not really caring for the way how it's acting though. I did want it to bounce off of it, like with this candle right here. It did come up here before with this other little weekly level right here. You guys can see. And then it dropped back down. I still want to see price reject off of here. But it's just anything doing right now at this point is just too risky. I've taken my losses already from trying to take this to the upside early, but that didn't happen. And there's also something that I want to point out as well from just dip right here. What price came all the way up to this high? It is at that 78.6 from this move right here. So I'm just like watching out for this thing to pop in general. It's the same thing for the past how many weeks I've been talking about, but price is just being stubborn and is just not participating with what I want. So go on over to the daily time frame. to see anything. So right now, as I said before, it's like really, even prices already passed through what this candle has done. So right now at this point, trying to necessarily buy anything US dollar, like if it's USD, XXX or whatever, it's kind of a little risky because the DXY could literally just drop off from right here. But personally speaking, I don't necessarily see that happening. Um, and again, if you go into the weekly time frame and then I pop up that fib as well, again, you guys can see that price is over here, and it's definitely in this area of interest where price could continue on to the upside, because on the weekly time frame, nothing. I mean, other than from this drop right here, and I'm pretty sure if I drew a trend line, it'll even match up with that. That it kind of does match up with this downtrend right here. So it's kind of actually is still in a downtrend, especially if you're calling from this side right here. But if you're looking at from when price was down to this low back in, I don't even know what that was because this is here. Should it be? So from this low back in 2011 to this high, we could say that from this to here is definitely a bullish move. But if you're calling it from here, then definitely can't say that. But this was back all the way in 2002. So I'm looking at current data right now, right? And so, like I said, I kind of want to see exactly where what the DXY is going to do for right now. I'm not really going to try to make any rash decisions because it could, of course, just naturally keep dropping, especially from this drop right here. That when coronavirus hit, prices ended up dropping. But I want, like I said, I want to see what price does here, though. I'm very, very, very much still interested in looking for price to go to the upside. That's just my personal opinion, but like looking at the 4 hour and all that other stuff, it's my opinion is very much looking bleak. But let's see what happens. You know, that's why you don't want to rush it. If you want to arbitrage, same thing. There's nothing really. Let me remove drawings real quick. There's nothing really enticing me to get into a buy of any sort, especially with the DXY gapping to the downside on market open. I don't like seeing that. So therefore, like I said, I'm just going to be patient with this because like I said, I've already traded and like a lot of my swing trades went the opposite way, although they could still very well go the way I want them to. But at this point in time with the DXY, it is not a good idea to look for buys until we get some more validation, some more concrete evidence that yes, price will indeed turn around. So let's go on over to EURUSD on the monthly time frame. So same thing, price is still over here at this weekly resistance. Go ahead and mark this off. Right, and then you can see as well, same thing. You can see multiple touches where price used this as support, price used it as a support, resistance, support, etc., right? So we know that yes, resistance right here, faked out, but then dropped eventually. So let's get rid of all those. But the way how this candle is looking like if it holds under here for another month, I am still looking for EURUSD to continue to the downside. That is what I am mostly looking out for right now. I do see this trend line right here, though, where price I mean, it's only 2 touches. I don't really care for trend lines regardless, but I'm still. It's kind of again, it's kind of too early to tell if this is going to stop right here, or it could even fake out like how it did right here and then end up dropping. But again, just for laughs and for shits and giggles, look at where price is at, the 71% fib. I personally have never back tested on the monthly time frame because, as you can see, there's not really that much data to even go off of on the monthly time frame. But I'm just throwing a fib on here, and if it works, then hey, it is what it is. But it is at the 71% fib from this previous drop right here. So again, it's kind of way too early on even for the Euro USD to determine if this is going to go bullish or bearish. This has been extremely bullish. It's been ever since November 3rd. What came up high here, retraced a little bit, then came back up to these highs where it previously was before. If I can get some rejections here again, and I can get tomorrow's daily candle, and the monthly candle to close under here, then I'm personally liking for Euro USD to end up dropping. That's what I personally would want to see. But again, it all depends on how the candle closes tomorrow. Because let's say that if EU continues to go bullish from here, then it's gonna just probably end up breaking this, and then candle will close on top of that. That would make my analysis for a sell on Euro USD invalid. So I'm still watching, still very much watching for what could possibly happen. But this is just, it's bullish for right now. And we could also, and I can't not look at it this way either, for a price to come back down and even possibly come to touch this 61% fib, 61% to 78.6 fib, to possibly even continue to the upside. But I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna be chill on this, man. There's no reason for me to try to sell it right now. I mean, if you want and you're a risky seller, by all means, maybe get a scalp on, do your thing. But on the 1 hour, on the 15-minute, there's nothing telling me to sell right now. So I'm just going to take my time on that. Let's go on to the arbitrage. Same thing. Oh, we have overbots. We have some dollar sign overbots, but then same thing. Look at this right here. You see, have all these overbots. Price kept going higher. So again, it's just good to be patient at this time. I'll probably wait for the 15-minute to give me an alert to get into a sell. Possibly, let's see what happens with that. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up dropping though. Like I said, I want to see price hold under this resistance so that it continue to the downside. But we'll see how that plays out. I'll create my alert and let's just wait. All right, so that's for EU. Let's go on over to GBPUSD. So all right, so GU is one of the trades that I still do believe is going to keep dropping, and I showed you guys that it could possibly sell last week, but it kind of did, but not necessarily. So let's just draw this fib that I had from this high back in September. So price, wait, actually no, let me not do this first. Let me actually remove drawings, go to the monthly time frame as well on GBPUSD. So right now, price is currently chilling at this. Well, I can't even call this a weekly zone. It's more of a monthly. But yeah, price is currently holding under this monthly support right here. Now, one thing that bothers me about this is that based off of what I'm seeing on TradingView, based off the chart, I don't know about in the past or anything like that. I don't know anything, especially anything past 1993, but the GBPUSD has never been down here, especially from 2000 until 2016. That has been under 1.3400, right? That's the only time the GU has ever been this low, and then it's came under since it came on top on 2018, but then ended up dropping again. So this is an interesting area to see if price is going to hold here or if it's going to end up dropping back down to this other like monthly level right here, right? And I'm actually going to just most likely end up keeping that there. But as you can see from here, price came down, then came up, then came down, then came back up. Kind of looks like a W, but L. I mean, if you look at it this way, then maybe yeah. But for any type of buys on GU, the only way how I would buy this is if, well, not on the monthly, but if any type of way that I'll look for buys is if price broke through this resistance, retested, and went back, kept going to the upside. But that's on the monthly time frame, and nobody has time to wait for a whole month to place a trade. Well, at least for me at this point in time. When I get my money more up, then maybe that's a different story. But anyways, weekly candle. The way how this weekly candle closes is not really telling me that price wants to continue buying. It's looking like it's showing some type of weakness to the upside, saying that it doesn't want to necessarily buy yet. And if it doesn't, then hey, buy by all means, because I'm not really looking for buys. So let me delete these first and foremost. See? Okay. So yeah, like I said, this weekly candle, the way how it closed is not necessarily telling me that price wants to actually continue selling. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch out for that. I do see this really steep uptrend. Well, hold on. Let me not do that. Let me do this one right here. I do see this really steep uptrend right here. That could possibly be a place where if price comes back down, that it could retest and then continue going up to the upside. But I'm not necessarily, like I always say, I'm not necessarily a crazy fan of trend lines. I just want to point that out. Daily time frame, as I've mentioned before, if we go ahead and draw this out for my swing trade, price did come up to the almost to the 90%. It never really hit there, and then it came back down to this entry. This is my original sell entry right here. So that happened a couple of days ago. If I was looking for a long-term sell trade, this is what it would have looked like. You could have put your stop loss either here or here, but I'm using this only for illustration purposes. I'm still looking for this to drop overall. I'm still looking for this to drop. I'm not necessarily looking for buys right now. But again, like I said, if I am looking for buys, the only ways that I'd be necessarily getting to a buy is if price broke through, retested this this weekly resistance as a now new support, and then continue going to the upside type of thing. That's when I would truly be looking for a buy on GU. But until then, I can't necessarily get that. And like I said, this is a pretty decent swing trade right here. If you're looking, like I said, this is for my swing traders or my position traders where you want to go long term. This looks like a really good swing trade. But again, not all trades are 100%. This could definitely be a broke trade that's like, no, I'm not going to sell. I want to see where the point of control is all the way down here, which is where I would most likely take 70% of my profits. Yeah, guys, and I don't see anything really up here for a point of control. I really don't. So again, I like GU still. I still like GU for the sell overall. Let's go on to arbitrage. Let's go on to the daily time frame. So the daily time frame still hasn't called anything for a sell on GU yet. So no hope in that. 4-hour time frame. This is what I love to see. So 4-hour, we have that it called for that buy. I need price to come back up to 1.33400 for me to get in. Well, that will match up really nicely with this swing. I mean, not really nicely, because realistically speaking, if I were to just take the trade based off of what I'm seeing on arbitrage, I need price to still come up and hit this RSI line, this black line right here. And I would place a trade looking like this. Right? This will be the type of trade that I'm looking like. And then stop loss 45 pips. That's a good amount of pips in my opinion for a stop loss. And I have I'll set my alert up for this as well, because I think I'm going to probably most likely take this trade. You could take this trade right now for sure if you like. There are some people who with arbitrage, when they see that, they just take the trade right then and there. And then obviously they'll set their alert. But I would love for price to come up here, 12 pips higher, for me to get my entry so that I could have a good risk to reward ratio on this setup. Because if I go ahead and copy this and paste it over onto here, let me actually hide this real quick. Then you would see that paste risk to reward, that it's a very small move. You can see that's a very small move. So, and it's still a pretty solid move. Like 130 pips, that's not really small when you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, because you could make a whole lot of money off of 130 pips. But like I said, it's for this setup right here. And so I would rather have a 1 to 2.85 rather than a 1 to basically 1 to 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my entry up over here. Actually, that's a 1 to 3. And it's at 1.33400. So I'm going to set a buy limit there. Now, if that buy limit doesn't get hit, don't get discouraged, because again, you could go ahead and sell from right here. I'm just looking for a better entry, personally speaking. So let me go ahead and put a sell limit at 1.33400. And for those who use EMAs on the 1 hour time frame, that's like literally where the 50 EMA is at. So that's a pretty good retest on that, and then it drops. So again, this is a 43 pip stop loss move versus if you're looking at this bigger swing, which is 167 pip. So make your stops, make your lot sizes accordingly. I'm only risking, again, for this big move in general, I'm only probably risking like 1.5% to 2% of my account, versus with the intraday trade, I probably risk like 0.05 or 0.06% on that. So just be careful with that. There was GU for you. Let's go ahead and go on to AUDUSD. Oh, AUD. It's the gift that keeps on giving, man. And I don't mean that in a, I don't mean in a literal sense. Anyways, monthly candle is about to close down at these lows, and price is just holding right over here. Still holding in this little zone right here. One thing about AU that I'm really not, it's been just bullish for the past months, ever since COVID hit with this major drop back in March/February. It's just been really bullish. So nah, I don't want to do that. Want to really see what this is going to do right here, because it could just reject again, like make a double top on the monthly time frame and then end up dropping again. Don't really know what the economic status of Australia is compared to the US dollar, but I'm just being really patient with AU as well. Weekly time frame, the weekly time frame doesn't tell me anything necessarily that price wants to slow down or anything like that. But again, we had price come up here last time and it hit right here and then it started to drop. So we got to just wait and see what AUDUSD is really about to do, in my personal opinion. Same thing, daily time frame, prices came basically all the way back to this high. But I got to wait and see what price is doing. Risky sellers, risky sellers, this is where you guys shine at, because this is what you could possibly be even looking at for a possible setup. You're like, oh, well, if prices are going to come up back to this zone right here, that's a 20 pip stop loss. Boom, right above this previous high. If y'all down, that's a sniper entry right there. But that's, like I said, that's for the risky traders. I wouldn't suggest that, because price could easily just, and this is just like every other type of bank move that I see, price could just literally take liquidity up from up here and then end up pulverizing, or a price can just literally break, retest, continue to the upside, which I don't necessarily want to happen. So got to be patient with AUDUSD. And it's the same thing. Nothing on here is really saying to wait. Let me see what the monthly looks like on here. That's funny. That's funny. Monthly is calling for a buy, but I wouldn't get into that at all. I don't trade on the monthly time frame on anything. Maybe crypto, but still. Daily time frame still calling for a sell. 4 hours still calling for a buy. All these are still calling for buys. Nothing's really looking like it wants to turn around just yet. 15-minute, same thing. So again, like that's for the risky traders. If y'all want to be looking for sells right up here, just make sure that you're putting it above the previous high. Worst case scenario, you're gonna lose like 20 or 30 pips, which I might join you guys, to be honest with you, because I'm a risky trader every now and then. So yeah, I might join that, to be honest. It's a 20 pip stop loss. If price goes and wicks me out, it is what it is. Got to be able to deal with a loss. But I definitely, like I said, I don't see this necessarily looking to slow down. So just got to be careful. Let's go ahead and go on to GBPAUD. Oh, hold on. Okay. So GA, so GA is still chilling at this zone. Let me go into the monthly time frame, see what GA teach. GA has just been in a downtrend ever since the beginning of time. But anyways, price is currently chilling at this support where it's been at for a couple of months now. Been down here for a couple of months now, ever since it made this bullish move to the upside. I kind of still want to see this, especially with it just chilling here. I still want to see this go bullish overall. And if we're going just based off of this trend line again, then a couple months ago, price still came and retested it. So I still like the potential of this going bullish. Not gonna lie to you guys. Still like the potential of this going bullish. Same thing over here. Price was down, came down, was just here for a couple months. Then it went bullish. Yeah, I kind of still want to see this pop, you know? Not really caring for the sells on GA right now. Only way, as per usual, that I want to see that the price closed under this. So let's go on to the weekly time frame. Okay, weekly. Yes, kind of the same thing, guys. I'm kind of like wondering if price is gonna break, is gonna hold this, or if it's gonna break and then go to the downside. Like I'm really trying to figure out what's gonna happen here. If you want to be a little bit more correct with this trend line that I drew, and not just because of where price is currently at, then you could trend line support and resistance. You could drop this right down to right here. That seems a little bit more better than where price was at right here. It's really tough to tell. It's really tough for me to like really think if price is gonna hold right here. I think price can still potentially come down and drop a little more, especially with this previous move right here. Yes, this wick did come almost down all the way here, but don't really care for it like that. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm chilling. All right. So yeah, with this GA move right here, I still, just because I want to see AUDUSD drop is what's making me want to see GA pop even more, and that if that makes sense, right? Just because I've seen that, I want to see this pop a little more, but it's really sloppy to me, and I don't really want to like mess around with it right now. I want to see a little bit more confirmations, especially with seeing that daily candle like that. With the influence of the GBPs dropping, that's why I'm kind of like on GA right now. It's just been playing this kind of, hold on. It's just been playing this game right here, where it's just been playing among this zone, dropping, coming back in, playing it, dropping, coming back in. So GA is just looking a little sloppy, but I am, like I said, I am more bullish on it than bearish, especially with the influence of the Australian dollar. I want AUDUSD to drop, so I want to see GA pop. Daily time frame. Daily time frame doesn't necessarily look the greatest to be like trying to get an opinion from that as of yet. GA on the 4 hour, on the other hand, it definitely has come down here, shown one sign of of it being oversold, and then probably possibly another one before it starts pulling back. 1 hour time frame, nothing as of yet. It has shown the oversolds plentiful times, but 15-minute is about to call for a buy. Now, in market, when the market did open, it did call for a buy, then called for a fake out sell. So this could be a possible buy entry right here. So we'll see how that plays out. I might actually get into this. So I gotta wait and see how that candle closes though. So if I do get the alert in the next 8 minutes, I'll probably hop into the trade long. Once per bar close, it'll tell us if it closes above in 15 minutes, creates, and this could be the buy entry. And ultimately, what I would want to see from this is for price to not come in like wick us out down here. Now, the thing with GEA, the spreads are higher than with most Forex pairs, so it's not really kind of worth it. Especially like the risk reward for this particular setup isn't ideal for me. But what I would say is that if this happens, then I'll move my stop loss to break even, take 50% of my trade, and just let the rest ride and see what GA does from there. So gonna watch for that. 1 hour time frame. Again, nothing's really calling for a sell, so I'm only gonna wait on this call. And then if it tells me to get out, I'm getting out of there with probably like what? Like, let me see how many, like realistically speaking, this is how the sell, if it tells us to get out, this is how many pips we'll be risking, like 20 to 25 pips. And it could just definitely hold right here, then continue going to the upside. That's why I said I'll move my stop loss like down here to 45 to 50 pips. So just be careful with how much you are risking with this trade. I'm risking personally like 0.02% because it's a little risky. Nothing's really calling for the buy other than the 15-minute. And price was extremely bearish on Friday for the GBPs. So another wave of a downwards push could definitely happen. So that is for GA. Again, if price does come up to this TP, which is at 1.80900, I'll probably just take 50% of my profits, move my stop loss to break even, and let's see what price does. So that's for GA. Let's go on to EURAUD, another one that's been annoying. Okay, go on to the monthly. All right, so monthly time frame. Wow, EA is just an ugly pair. It's just sideways movement even on the monthly. Anyways, price has just been chilling at this monthly support right here where, you know, don't really know what EA wants to do. And it's just like with GA, it's just really sloppy looking. Like the monthly, like yeah, it's been climbing steadily, then it consolidates. It's just, yeah, sure thing. I'll check on GN. I wouldn't recommend trading GN. It's very high volatility, but I'll go ahead and check that out. The spreads are terrible as well on most brokers. GN, I mean EA on the monthly, like I said, it's just, it looks like it's bullish, but at the same time, I don't like seeing that type of wick and then this candle. Only thing I could really say is that price might end up coming to fill up that wick, which I don't see it in the long term. I mean, I don't see it in the short term. Definitely something that we will talk about probably in the next year, not this year. But so weekly time frame, same thing. Price is just chilling at this previous low right here. Daily time frame, again, same thing. Price was acting like it wanted to continue going lower, but it never really did. So again, EA is just sloppy at this point in time. I really couldn't give my honest opinion just on looking at the naked charts other than, oh, I just want to buy. Let's see if we go down to the 1 hour. I mean, yeah, I can go to the 1 hour and do stuff like with this, but at the same, like I see this bullish engulfing candle, price went up. So if I were to look for a sell entry, it would have happened when price was down here. I mean, a buy entry, it would have happened if price was down here on the 1 hour. but I wasn't looking at price when that happened. So, and even that is just a risky entry as well, sort of. Who's to talk about risky entries when you have arbitrage? 15-minute looks terrible. 1 hour looks terrible, although the 1 hour does look like it's calling for a buy. Broke it, retested RSI line, held over here at the lower danger zone. Yeah, that looks like it's going to go bullish as well on these right here. A 4 hour, I'm pretty sure, looks pretty awful as well. It's going to look to call for a buy. If I were to get into a buy with EA, I would need to see this. I want price to break this RSI line, retest it, then continue going to the upside. That's how I would personally buy EA right now. So I'm going to place a position right here. I'll look for that long entrance for EA, and then I'll go ahead and wait for the retest, and then I'll hop in. Because like I said, I'm kind of looking at the same thing for GA, wait for it to go bullish, but there's not really much confirmations telling you that's going to happen. So let's just be patient and see what happens, you know? So that's for EA. But overall, daily time frame. I mean, even if you want to look for more sells, let's just do it. Let's just put this into perspective as well. Even if we're looking for sells, let's say that price is stopping here. I would need price to come up to this area for me to continue selling it. So even just based off of like, oh, I'm not looking for sells. If I was looking for sells, I either need to see a break and retest to the downside, or I need to see price come and retrace to come up here for the sell. So that's why I'm more interested in buys than anything right now, right? So that's just how I'm looking at things. So if price comes back up to 1.66300th, I'll start being like, okay, now I'm starting to look for buys, possibly. But overall, especially with price at this weekly or at this heavy support, well, that's what it's using it as right now, support, I can't say that with full confidence I'm looking for sells. So yeah, that is my opinion on EA. And again, I'd rather wait for this break, recess, continue to the upside type of move for me to get in. All right, so let's go on to EURGBP. It's the EURGBP. What trade was this? Oh, ain't that lovely? Ha, that's funny. That's hilarious. But anyways. Oh, this was like a scalping trade that I was talking to one of my students about the other day. Or not scalping, like intraday, like a quick intraday move. But anyways, EURGBP. Last week I was saying that I'm not even gonna talk about last week. Let's just keep going. The analysis. So monthly time frame, price has just been up here on EURGBP. It's been very highly valued, and it's just chilling at this current. Sorry, what the heck? So weird. I'm looking at price still at this high up here on the monthly time frame, which is kind of making me not want to even look for any type of buys on EG, especially for the long term, and that has been just consolidating in this area. I kind of still want to see this drop. Long entrance on GA, like I mentioned. So let's actually do that real quick. Sorry for interrupting on EG. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into this trade real quick. And I'll use GA exit alert to tell me when to get out. Long exit all. Once per bar close, continue. And so, yeah, let's see how this plays out. I'll go ahead and risk point. I'll do 0.10 on this move. All right. Place a buy and then put the stop loss right there. Solid move. Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and see what G8 does here. I personally do like the buy. And if the alert goes off, then I'm out of there. Simple as that. Anyways, continuing on to EURGBP. I've seen that. So yeah, price reject. I mean, it didn't reject off of this though. It did make this huge weekly engulfing candle, then came back and did 100% retracement. So I can't even look for sells with that being in my head that, oh, this engulfed, and then after a couple of weeks it came down and did 100% retracement. I don't even want to look for buys personally. On the daily time frame, we can see that this is a little zone that price has rejected and respected off of a couple times. EG just looks like not the greatest to me, but I still personally want to sell this. And especially if I'm looking at from this drop from right here, just this drop, not from these wicks right here or from up here. I'm just talking about this drop. It still looks like price can still be looking to drop. So I can't look at this and say I want to keep buying it. It's way too high, first of all, on the weekly. Second of all, it's at, like I said, from this drop that it broke this low right here, then retested it. It looks like it still can potentially drop. Go to the 4-hour time frame, maybe it'll look better there. It did come here once, dropped, came back up here again. Still looks like it wants to hold here and drop again. So, I mean, that's all I could really look at right now. And possibly even come down over here. So again, guys, EG, personally speaking, I'm looking for sells here. It's not one of the cleaner moves necessarily, because I'm just gonna show a directional bias on this right now. If you want, you could take the trade, but I personally think that price is gonna come and break through these lows next time. We're right about now, so anywhere in here, I feel like price is gonna come down and then break the lows to come down to here. Doesn't have to be this week, but that's what I think is gonna happen. Let's go on to arbitrage. 15-minute time frame, right on time, is calling for the sell. So this is a trade I'm going to get into. I'm going to have the alert tell me when to get out the trade. So short exit all, once per bar close, create. And let's see what we can get with this. Oof. All right. So 0.10. So I would put it just the stop loss at these highs, because I mean the trade itself is how many pips. Like if you were to just go with this without using the alert, I would put my stop loss up there. Stop loss is 23 pips. Drop down, but if the alert does go off, it'd probably look something like this with I think a 10 pip stop loss, which I could live with. Could totally live with losing 10 pips right now off of this move. So let's go ahead and see what that does. And yeah, let's see what it does. But again, EURGBP on here is not looking really clean for me, but just seeing that price made this bullish engulfing move and then made 100% retracement down to it, I'm not looking for buys. So let's go ahead and go and put that a buy. Go on to EURNZD. Okay. Now we were in this EURNZD trade last week. Both the buy and the sell played out for us. Let's go on to the monthly though and seeing what this is looking like. Okay, so off the bat on the weekly time frame, I can't help but notice this. Looks so terrible, but price can be rejecting off of there. Just off the bat, I just have to address that. And on the weekly, we can say that price is at this zone right here. Oops, wrong tool. We can say that price is right here, holding at this support, or yeah, at this support right now. All I could really say on EN is that unless it really completely breaks through here, it doesn't even look nice to me. I think I'm like one of the very few people who trade this pair. It is looking like it's kind of in an uptrend short-term wise, but other than that, guys, I'm not really, or not short-term, but like with this slope. But if it doesn't reject here, then I can't look for any kind of buys on this. See what the weekly time frame looks like. Yeah, past couple weeks has just been bearish. I mean, it broke this previous low right here. I mean, can possibly still pop up because you have 1, 2, 3 touches on this trend line. Let me actually make this a little better. There. So the possibility of this still going bearish does exist. It's just not that crazy looking. I mean, bullish, sorry. For it to be bullish, does still exist. It's just not that crazy looking, right? Let's go into the daily time frame. If I were personally to look for a sell, the only way how I would get into the sell is either if A, price broke through these lows, retested, and then continued to the downside, or if B, price were to give me this. If price were to come up to that 71%, reject off of it, then continue to the downside. Those are the only two ways that I would personally be looking for a sell on EURNZD, especially with it being this low. Let's go see what arbitrage does. Or arbitrage is saying 15-minute time frame on arbitrage is being called, but I just don't personally like how EN looks on the bigger time frames for me to sell it right now. The 1 hour time frame looks the best for a potential buy position right now versus the 15-minute. So what I'll do, set up an alert, long, once per bar close, create. I'm going to go ahead and get into this buy right here. I like where it's at right now for a risky, well, not risky necessarily, but a good buy position. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The spreads on these pairs are terrible, so just watch out as per usual. If I were to put a stop loss on this move, I'd probably put it like around right here, like 15 or 20 pips actually. 20 pip stop loss move would be solid. And if price comes up to here, I would take 50% of my profit and then move my stop loss to break even and then see what else price does. But other than that, I do like the buy on EN overall, although the 4 hour definitely doesn't, but it looks like it might be setting up for one. And if my stop loss gets hit, I'm risking 20 pips. So I'm not even, like I said, I'm not risking a lot. I'm only risking about 0.0. Look at that already. It's already rejecting off of that. So we'll see how that plays out though, because there's still a lot of trading in the week to do. So let's see how that plays out. Mr. Gold did some stupid numbers last week. I'm sorry. Like, yikes, man. Okay. So I was telling one of my students this whole area that gold's at right now, from this bullish, from where price made this bullish, started making this bullish climb, still in my area of interest. Still in my overall area of interest to be looking for a long term, not a short term, a long term gold buy. Now, you can be taking it from here or you can move this right here. Regardless, I'm still looking for a long term gold buy. But again, that's just basically what I'm looking at for this. But there's no indications that are saying that gold is going to buy at this point in time. If you go to the 4-hour time frame, no indication telling you that this is going to buy. If you go to the 1-hour time frame, no indication is telling you this is going to buy. Let me actually regular. Or no, this is a buy box. I'm sorry. But yeah, no indication that this is going to buy. 15-minute time frame, no indication telling you that this is going to buy. So as I mentioned, I'm only looking at it from a longer term, long time point of view. This is looking like a buy to me based off of the fib, based off of the retracement that this move did. But that can't just, you'd want to use more confluences than that to go long term on gold, especially for it to go back to like the likes of 1987 or 2076. Yeah, you'd want more confirmations than just that. 1-hour time frame isn't giving any confirmation to look for a buy, nor is the 15 minutes. So gold, I'll go ahead and set up an alert for this 15-minute buy, absolutely. But like I said, you just want to be careful right now. But long-term gold, hey, I mean, if you want, go ahead, take it. Your stop loss with this type of move, though, even if you were to trade it with a 0.01, it's pretty steep. I don't know if I would personally be able to trade gold for this long right here. So boom. Your stop loss would be 823 pips. So that's 80 with the 0.01, that's your risk. That would be like an 80. Yeah, that's $823 right there with the 0.01 lot size. If you're gonna hold it all the way to 1702. So, but then if you win, you're winning a lot of money on that. I actually might play this on demo, like this whole move, and see how it plays out. I might play that on a demo account just to see what it looks like. But yeah, personally speaking, it's too early to tell. That 15-minute, you might get an entry, but it's too early to tell, especially with that drop right there. Yeesh. With this kind of drop, what might end up happening is price can pull up to the 71%, come back down, make a double top, and then price pop up. So it'll look like this. Oops, wrong tool. So it could look like this. Price pops up, comes back down, make a double bottom, then continue to the upside. So that could definitely be what this move is going to be, but I'm just going to be patient and wait. All right, let's go to the S&P. Okay. All right, so S&P monthly time frame, it's created all-time highs. I personally can't buy at all-time highs because I don't know where next price is going to go. So realistically speaking, just looking at this, I mean, with the weekly, it's still up here. The only way that I could buy this, I mean, the only way that I could sell this personally is if I'm going to sell it like right now. And that's going to be hella risky trying to sell it like right now. Because, I mean, if we counted from this high to this low, it is pretty decent for a buy. I mean, it is pretty decent for a sell. But again, it's just, I don't know. I'm not really crazy over this move because it's just taking so long up here. But, Oh, it looks like it's tanking right now. Then, if that's the way how it's moving on the 1 hour, oh no, it barely opened up right here. Never mind. Yeah, for S&P, all I could really say is right here, I'd want to sell. And this is if you want to go ahead and sell it, but I'm not crazy over it. It's so close to the all-time highs, and it just doesn't look that great to me personally for a buy. But at the same time, it could just keep making all-time highs. So S&P, if I were to take it, I'd probably take it down over here to see what happens next. But other than that, this is just way bullish for me. A weekly time frame. Let me just hide real quick the tools. I like seeing this candle and then price went to fill up the candle, now possibly dropped. I kind of like that setup, but again, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about the S&Ps right now that's not making me necessarily crazy over the sell. So just going to wait on it a little bit more to give me some more type of confluences. I mean, because even this, look, from this low to this high, look where prices are rejecting off of down here. So I'm not really crazy over S&P quite yet. The 15-minute time frame definitely did call for the sell though, but I didn't get a retest, so that's another reason why I'm not crazy over it. 1 hour time frame, don't like how that looks necessarily, but the 4 hour, even this, I don't care for how it looks as well. So with the S&P, just gonna play it cool and just wait a little longer, honestly. If you guys want to take a sell at it, go ahead. It's just, for me personally, I don't like it. So yeah, that's just me personally. I'm pretty sure it looks the exact same way, or no, monthly. It looks the exact same way with the Dow Jones. Doesn't really look something that everybody, damn it. It doesn't look like something that everybody would want to try to go ahead and take a sell at, especially if it's at the all-time highs like this. So again, I'm not really necessarily looking for sells off of this move right now. I mean, you can argue, I suppose, and be like, oh, well, if you're going to look for a buy, then you could wait for this move for price to come down to 2,900, 560, which if you want to, by all means, but I'm not looking for buys, and I don't want to personally try to sell it right now either. So, just going to be patient and wait on the S&P and the Dow Jones, because it could very much hold right here and then continue to the upside as well. So, gonna wait on that. Let's take a look at some cryptocurrency real quick though. Let's take a look at my baby Ripple. Okay, so one thing that I want you guys to notice is that Ripple right now is currently at this level where it did leave this wick previously, which it kind of did the same thing again, and then it ended up dropping a little bit. But the weekly candle is way more favorable right here, especially with two bullish engulfing candles with Ripple. I like seeing that a lot, so gonna be watching out. Oops, why do I have that there? So I'm gonna be watching out for Ripple right here. I don't want that line. Thank you. Right here is where it's a very interested area to watch for Ripple. I still want to come. I low-key would want to come and see it come back to hit 50 cents. And if it does, then I'm going to be loading up on more Ripple. Going to be buying more Ripple with just Ripple, buying the actual Ripple coins. So let's go into the daily time frame. Actually, no, I want to go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour looks better. So on the 4 hour time frame, what I'm seeing from this drop right here, if price can sustain where it's at right here at this level, I'd be looking to be selling Ripple. right? And my stop loss would most likely be just at like 71, 72 cents. And be careful with some brokers. It could be very expensive to trade Ripple or anything like that. I know Hugo's way with the 0.05. I mean, like a good penny off of that. So just be careful with that. But this kind of setup doesn't look bad to me. And again, I would love to see if price comes back down to 50 cents, load up some more Ripple, then or even down to 36 cents. Because if we go to the daily time frame real quick, comes down to, well, not 36 cents. Let me draw this line over here. You guys will see why I would want 36 cents. You can see that it was once a level where price was like it broke through and then it respected before it dropped down a little bit last year. But yeah, this is why I want to see price come back down to 36 cents. That would be mad love. But my main areas of me looking to keep buying more Ripple, like the physical coin, is at 50 cents and definitely at this 36 cents. That's where I'd be looking to add more money or add more funds to my Ripple account or my Ripple wallet so that keep investing, you know? That's the name of the game. So that's for Ripple. I do like the sell for margin trading though. I really do like this play for margin trading. So I'm watching for that. Let's go on over to Bitcoin. And just an FYI to everybody, I personally do not invest a lot of my money into Bitcoin. It more goes into the altcoins because they're cheaper and I can get a way better return on them than with Bitcoin, because I would, in order for me to get a good return on Bitcoin, let's just put this into perspective. Or let's just do it on a chart so that everybody can see it. And that's why I don't like Bitcoin, personally speaking. In order for me to make money off of Bitcoin, right now it's $18,430. I would need price to come up to like 37,000 for me to make double my money. Because look, take a ruler. How much percent is that? 100%. That means you just doubled your money if you buy Bitcoin right now, and then you have to wait for 38,000 for you to double your money. Why would I go and do that when I can just go and buy Ripple, which is 60 cents for one single coin, and then if it gets to $1.20, that I double my money? What seems more realistic, for Ripple to hit $1 and double your money, or for Bitcoin to go and hit 38,000 and double your money? Personally speaking, I like Ripple. Same thing with. And so, like, same thing with Litecoin. Like, that's why when people are like going like, "Oh, Bitcoin's at this price," I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool, but how much are you gonna make off of it, though?" Like, let's just look at Litecoin USD for instance. I use Binance personally. Right now, it's $79. For you to make double of Litecoin, you would need this to go to $160, which is right here. And this is where prices like was just recently up here. Not that long ago. It was up here in 2019. And Litecoin has been all-time high. Its all-time high is $385. For you to double your money on Litecoin, if you were to buy Litecoins right now, you would need it for it to just do this, and then right around $161. Then you would have 100% of your investment on that. And then all-time highs, you will literally almost quadruple your money. So you see why I'm not tripping over Bitcoin? Because it's not gonna give me my best return on investment. My ROI isn't gonna be great if I go and play with Bitcoin versus if I go and play with Litecoin or Ripple. Let's take a look at Ripple, my baby. If it comes to all-time highs, basically already I'm gonna be multiplying that basically like quadruple, like more than quadruple of what it's worth right now. But then if you went and bought it down at 10 cents right over here, $2,163% return. So that's why I'm just like, why would you go and look at this chart when it's already this high? Might as well wait. And secondly, I don't even think that Bitcoin is going to keep going yet. I don't think as of yet, right now, it's going to go bullish and go and break 20,000. Not quite yet. I would still want to see some type of retracement on Bitcoin, especially right here with this move. I would need price to come back down to 15,000 or even 13,000 before it continues to the upside. But short-term wise and just like short-term trading wise, I'd want to see Bitcoin do this. It's at my level of interest for a sell. So anywhere here, I'm looking for a sell. And again, I want to see, I personally do think and believe that Bitcoin is going to go down to 15,000 before it pops up. I don't think that we're going to see 20K until next year. Past 20,000 until next year. That's just my personal opinion. I was wrong about the halving actually making price skyrocket at that time, but it did eventually happen. Bitcoin did eventually boom. It's just that when the halving happened in May, it didn't skyrocket then. It took a little while, but it still happened regardless. So yeah, I'm looking for the price to come up here. I'm going to go ahead and actually set a sell limit right here. And if I get taken out, then hey, it is what it is, because I'm pretty sure if Bitcoin's hitting 20,000, then my Ripple account is going to be looking nice. Or my Ripple wallet. I don't know why I keep calling it an account. But so, yeah, this is what I'm looking for in this trade. I'll probably end up actually putting my stop loss right here. And then if I get stopped out, then I'll just wait for another possibility to get in. And then yeah, let's see what happens with Bitcoin right then and there. I'm not going to look at any of these pairs except for USDCHF and GBPJPY. I've been waiting for USDCHF to make this move because it made this huge bullish engulfing move, and I needed it to retrace back down to at least the 61.8, but it never did that until last week. And so now it's at this 78.6 basically. I'm looking for buys on USDCHF. But again, be careful with that US dollar, because if that US dollar does not go bullish, this is probably not going to go bullish either. But I definitely am looking for buys on USDCHF. Looking for it to come up to at least up here overall. So there's the play. I gave it to you guys. GJ, I still do think that this is going to continue to drop to the downside. So this was the play that I had given last week. Just doing this real quick before I go to GN and then I'll hop off. So this was the overall move on GJ for the sell. And then this was the smaller, this was the smaller time frame entry for GJ that had me low-key panicking. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, this was the smaller term trade for you to get in anywhere over here. Price did go up a little higher, but then I think we got in at this 61.8 instead of the 78.6. And so yeah, that ended up dropping, but it's in good profits now. That was from last week, and I still think that it's going to continue to the downside. So I just wanted to point those out real quick. And GBPNZD. This would be the last one. All right. Ooh. Yikes, man. Let's go to the weekly first and foremost. All right, this pair's acting right now. Cool. So GBPNZD monthly looks like it's breaking through these lows. So trying to buy GN right now might be a little bit. You might want to wait on that. But price is definitely still at this monthly zone right here. Oops, wrong tool. Price is at this monthly zone right here where it could be looking to reject off of and continue to the upside. That's what I would rather want to see. There is this trend line, just to point it out. that you could be looking at as well. If price does go up and actually goes up a pretty decent amount, then it could just be like, oh, price is just rejecting off of this to continue to the upside. And from this, just using a fib from this move to up here, it's not necessarily a bad place to be looking for a possible push up on GN, but you want to be careful because that's a very bearish monthly candle. Weekly time frame does bear to differ with this trend line, so let me make it a little cleaner. Yeah, weekly time frame's already closed under this trend line, so you might want to be careful with that. That's why I don't really care for trend lines overall. Daily time frame though, again, this is just at a very, very strong support. You want to wait and see if it's going to reject off of here before buying. But if you're down for those type of moves, then absolutely you can take that risky buy here, but you just got to put your stop loss lower than this. But there's nothing, absolutely nothing saying that this is going to turn around, especially with this daily candle. Better watch out. 4-hour time frame, if I was looking for a sell, this is probably the only way I would be able to look for a sell, is if price came back up to the 71% and then dropped down. So overall, like I said, only thing that I could look at right now is for price to push to the upside. And the only way that I could sell this is if price drops, retests, continues to the downside, or does that. Those are the only two ways that I could look to be selling GN. So let's go ahead and go on to arbitrage. We have nothing over here basically for any type of sales. We do have oversolds, absolutely, on both the daily and the 4-hour. So you can be getting a turnaround very shortly. 1-hour time frame, it looks like it's starting to set up. So I guarantee you the 15-minute on the 1 hour, on the 15-minute for arbitrage calling for a buy. Yep. Calling for a buy right there, already rejected down there for the retest. So here's your guys' trade for GN. A little short-term move. Kind of missed the perfect solid entry, but it's okay. Take price up there. Move your stop loss probably to down here. That's a good 1 to 2.5 risk to reward ratio. And so what I would do, I would probably take 50% of my profits when price gets up to 1.900, basically, and then move your stop loss to break even and just take the trade from there. Because I'm not getting into this. I'm already in enough trades. Of course, we'll see how that goes. But anyways, that's about it. Does anybody have any other questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me to answer before I hop off or anything like that? This looks really good, actually. I might get into this on a different account. No questions? Okay, all right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I'm going to be posting up the recording very shortly. And let's make some money this week. I hope you guys have a good rest of your, good week because it's just beginning of the week, right? But yeah, later.